had to take some time to figure out how to put this piston ring filer I bought from Summitt. Cost $61.99. It's one of the cheaper ones, but got a few decent reviews, nothing spectacular. But it works. But they don't give you no instructions. Get the hardware here. You got this piece here, the shaft. One grinding wheel comes with it, or the 3 extra, which are over here. You get this little piece right there. It's a pin with a set screw on it. I had to figure out what that is, and here is the handle. And there's another set screw, which maybe goes on top of this, I'm not sure. I don't see any other holes for it. So, first thing we want to do, okay, we want to put our wheel down in here. Slide this mandrel in here. And this pin with a set screw, okay, this pin's got to go in this groove right here. Got that lined up, and I'm going to screw that in. I guess you got to bottom it out. Yeah, I would say you bottom this out and put that other set screw on top of this so that it stays in place. Yeah, it's too tight there. There we go. Let's try. Putting that on. It doesn't want to turn very freely. It is now. Let's tighten that down. Thing's hitting on something. Okay, there it goes. It's freeing up. Probably should have put a little oil down in there. Not too late for that. Watched a few videos on this. They recommend you bolt it to the table. I have a hole right there that I think I'm going to run a bolt through in the table. It'll just be one, which I think will be enough. If it wants to move on me, which I don't think it will, I can always drill another hole there. Or you could bolt it to a piece of wood and put it in your vise. You can do it like that. Put some WD-40 down in there. Maybe that'll help. It acts like it wants to catch. Probably just needs to be worked in. Much better. It's got a spot where it hangs right there. Don't want to tighten all the way down for sure. And probably what the second set screw is for. There we go. I think that handle goes in there like that. It's a little awkward. And that's how you do it. You don't want to spin it too fast. The thing doesn't like to stay in there. I'm not too crazy about that. That's what the other set screw is for. Right there. If I could bolt it to that hole, gotta move it out far like this. But I'm gonna bolt it to a piece of wood and clamp the wood in my vise. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Okay, that's how you get that together. And what you got to do when we're ready to fit the rings, I'll get in more detail. But what I believe you're supposed to do is push it up against those dowels, and it is a lot easier when it's clamped down, I'm sure, and you turn that handle a little bit, and it takes some trial and error and feel on how much it takes to actually remove some material off that ring. So, I'm going to get this bolted to a wooden block and turn the camera back on. So the ring filer is all together. There it is, mounted to a little wooden block in the vise. I think that's the best way to do it. I think when I read some reviews, a few guys had complaints about it breaking on them, and they also said they clamped it in the vise. And this thing is a hollow piece of aluminum, so you gotta have it mounted on something solid that you can clamp fairly tight. So first thing we want to do, we're going to take our top ring, take the camera off the tripod here. Okay, we got 3 different packages here. Got your top, second, and your oil rings. As far as I know, the oil rings you should not have to do any filing on. Top rings on this particular set are a chrome moly or a plasma type ring. Second ring is a cast, so they are different. It's just a regular cast ring. And if, in case you're afraid you get them mixed up, you can really see the difference in the surface there. See how that's black, and it's almost kind of a, you can feel a little bit of a roughness to that surface, where this is shinier and a little smoother. So if you're afraid you got them mixed up, all you gotta do is look for that. On the ring gap, let me find it. Oh yeah, how we determine the ring gap. Right here is the application chart. We are street strip in circle. We are drag strip. Fuel, gas, alcohol, or E85. It's your bore, which in my case is 4" 420 times 4.5 thousandths of an inch. And that will give me the amount of gap that I need to file fit my rings to. And as you can see, I already got it added up there. 4" 420, which is the bore, times 4.5 thousandths of an inch equals 19 8/10 and 9, I think, 1/100ths of a thousand. So we're going to go with 20 thousandths of a ring gap. So let's put the camera on the tripod now. Okay, before we do any filing, we're going to start with our second ring, which is the second groove down. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here before we do any filing. And you want to get it down in there square. They say about an inch. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to push it down with the piston and kind of use my last ring groove to eyeball it up kind of square. Then I'm going to need my flashlight here. We're going to see what gap we've got already, and it's almost nothing. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother to stick a feeler gauge in it because it's not much. It's maybe 5. I don't know. It's not much. Here's a 5. Yeah, 5 won't even go in there. So, for a first attempt to grind it, I guess we can get a little brave with the grinder. Okay, here's my first attempt at using this thing. And I just lost electricity. Oh, great. Okay. Just trying to flash. That's just what I needed. You know, they're building an apartment complex across the street on what used to be a farm, which no one in this area is happy with, but now they decided to pick a Saturday when most people are home to shut out the lights and work, I bet, because they left a notice that Oh, there it goes. Lights just came back on. Maybe it wasn't them. Well, we also had some bad storms in the area the past couple of days, and they've been working on. Not too crazy. Got this wheel. But yeah, there's some storms in the area. Let's see what this looks like real quick. Okay, that made no difference. Like I was saying, there were some storms in the area, and there's a lot of power outages, and I was lucky enough to not be one of those people, but it might be because of them working on that. This is a little awkward. Let me move my camera over here where I can stand in a better position, hopefully. You want to try to get your ends square on that wheel. And what little you just seen me grind didn't make much of a difference. Kind of wish I'd have spent more money on a better ring filer. See what that does. So you gotta be careful not to take too much of the time off. Okay, after what little grinding you saw me do, that we now have 9 thousandths of clearance. Still got 10 to go, so we want to count how many times we turn this wheel. 1, 2. That was about 6, I think. Wish they had an actual. That's more of a cutoff wheel. I'm gonna have to look around and find a better. Need like a pedestal grinding type wheel. Maybe even a wheel with a surface like that. Not that big, of course, but that would work better than the piece of junk they give you. I kind of like the little ring filer thing, but the wheel, I'm not that impressed by it. You have to be very careful about how much more we take off, because we only got 2 more to go. Okay, we're now at a tight 20 from the middle up, meaning when my feeler gauge goes in, it goes in easy about the halfway. We're not perfectly square, but close. So, I'm just going to do, I'm going to favor that top side there, just like that on each one. Another thing I learned, one easy way to get that ring fairly square down in the bore, I'm going to use these ledges of the skirt, see right here? And when I push it down in there, try to make sure both of those are flush with the top of the engine deck. Actually, I'm a little bit below. Let's try to make it even like that. Take our feeler gauge. And that feel a little bit of drag so we're not super loose. Fairly square. I've had them off a lot worse. So like I said, before this ring filer, I used to do it. Stick the ring in the vise and take a file to it. Okay, we got a very tight 21. I think we can live with that. I'm sure there's a lot of them out there that run just fine that are a lot farther off than that. So we got to do the top ring now, and then we'll put one piston in. Top ring looks good. Starting to get a little bit better hang of the ring filer. The more you use it, the quicker you get with it. Okay, one thing I need to add is after you use that ring filer, you get a little bit of a sharp edge or a burr on the flat surface side of the ring. You just want to deburr it. Don't go too crazy. Just knock the sharp edge off. Take a little piece of emery cloth. I think this is like 150 grit. Not necessarily around the edge off, but just knock that sharp burr off of there. That way it won't be, because there's kind of a tight clearance when it slides in that ring groove in the piston. And you don't want that getting hung up in there. Just kind of smooth it out like that. Surprisingly, there is no burr on that edge. Be really careful on that outside edge. And that's all there is to that part of it.